So Thanksgiving, which I'm going to talk about giving and thanks. I know, witty, right? Actually, when I think about giving and when I think about thanks, I think about a teaching by Marshall Rosenberg, a nonviolent communication teaching, which is when you give something, don't give anything unless you can give it with the joy of a little child feeding a hungry duck. I love that statement, and whenever I catch the feeling in me of resentment, like, when somebody asks me for something, I try to I have a little picture of a kid in my head with a duck to remind me to be present. It's actually a wonderful practice to do that phrase. And then the thanks part, in nonviolent communication, we have a way to say thank you, which is not that complicated, but it is when you thank the person, you thank them, not just like, thanks for being you. You thank them for the need they're meeting within you. Like I might say, thank you, Chris, for that song. It just met a need for connection for me. I might say, thank you, Dennis, for your guitar playing. It meets a need for music and excellence and reminding me of when I was in the 70s. And thank you, Brian, for how good looking you are at the drum set. It meets my need for beauty. And Deb, thank you for your playing and your consistency. It meets my need for a spiritual connection, like that. It's a beautiful spiritual practice because when we thank someone, we end up getting in touch with something alive in us, which is the whole game. And as always, when we look at spiritual practices in unity, we look at spiritual practices and teachings through the lens of one power and one presence. That there is one power and one presence. So there is only good working in our lives all the time when we're thanking and when we're giving. And also, we work with kindness and we work with compassion. Well, I have a cautionary tale. It's the tale of pumpkin spice. If pumpkin spice was a person, pumpkin spice has been all over town, giving his or herself away. I don't know about you, but there's a little pumpkin spice goes a long way. A little giving goes a long way. Why, I'll have you know that there's pumpkin spice hummus, of course pumpkin spice lattes, pumpkin spice butter, pumpkin spice Oreos, pumpkin spice M&Ms, pumpkin spice bar soap, pumpkin spice Toll House chips, pumpkin spice Trader Joe's Greek yogurt, pumpkin spice Odwalla protein smoothies, marshmallows, Pop-Tarts, ice cream, swirl bread, cream cheese, ravioli, flax crunchy, kashi granola bars, and pumpkin body wash. And it's not that I have anything against pumpkin spice, but I love the lesson of balance when we're giving. And when we're giving, if we keep giving and giving and giving, then it gets a little watered down. We need some renewal. There's two teachers that teach this to me. One of them is the 19th century Tibetan teacher, whose name is Jamgon Kongtrul the Great. I just like his name, the Great. Wouldn't that be cool to have that after your name? Anyway, he has a great teaching, which I learned from Pema Chodron, but the teaching is, be grateful to everyone. And that, be grateful to everyone, be grateful to everything, is one of those things that when you take it into you, it just changes everything. It changes when you're getting a ticket. It changes when it snows or it rains on your wedding day and it was an outside wedding with no, umbrellas. And it helps us to make friends with aspects of ourselves. It leads us to make peace. It leads us to make peace with the aspects of ourselves that we have rejected. It leads us to make peace with the people we dislike or we have problems with. It's a magic circle. Because dealing with people, the things that upset us, being grateful helps us to get caught up in what is real for us and also to accept it. It helps us to accept more parts of ourselves. And as we accept more parts of ourselves, we accept the irritating people around us more. And the more we accept the irritating people around us, the more we can be grateful and graceful and appreciative of the little foibles. Then we can be understanding and loving toward ourselves. So it's just it's a good one of those magic circles, right? It keeps adding more joy and more acceptance into the world. You can learn from everything because you have wisdom in you, and you have intelligence in you, and you have the Spirit of the Christ within you. So you can learn from everything, whether it's rain or sun. There's an internationally renowned priest and author who has now left this physical plane. He died in 1996. Henry Nouwen. He wrote many books about spiritual life. Nouwen believed that what is most personal is most universal. He wrote, "By giving words to these intimate experiences, I can make my life available to others." So he dedicated his life to living in community and to creating community and to ministry, because he was a priest, and also he dedicated his life to people who needed taking care of. He ended up starting a place in France called L'Arches that was a place where people who wanted to live a cloistered life lived the life there, but they also took care of people who needed care of any kind, physical and mental care, so who needed extra help. So he lived there, and it's a beautiful community to this day. And he has a lesson that I am borrowing right from him that really inspired me. I'm taking this from Mark chapter 1. We're speaking about Jesus here. That evening at sunset, they brought to him all who were sick or possessed with demons. And the whole city was gathered around the door. And he cured many who were sick with various diseases and cast out many demons. And he would not permit the demons to speak because they knew him. In the morning, while it was still very dark, he got up and went out to a deserted place, and there he prayed. And Simon and his companions hunted for him. When they found him, they said to him, "Everyone is searching for you." He answered, "Let us go on to the neighboring towns so that I may proclaim the message there also, for that is what I came out to do." And he went through Galilee, proclaiming the message in their synagogues and casting out demons. That just reminds me of going home for Thanksgiving. Or wherever we go for Thanksgiving. Reminds me of our spiritual work. And this is what Henry Nouwen says. It's really beautiful. Here's the line from the scripture that evokes that. In the morning, while it was still very dark, he got up and went out to a deserted place, and there he prayed. In the center of breathless activities, we hear a restful breathing. Surrounded by hours of moving, we find a moment of quiet stillness. In the heart of much involvement, there are words of withdrawal. In the midst of action, there is contemplation. And after much togetherness, there is solitude. The more I read this nearly silent sentence, the more I have the sense that the secret of Jesus' ministry is hidden in that lonely place where he went to pray, early in the morning, long before dawn. It is critically important that we find the restful place to pray and renew ourselves so that we can go out and give again. I had I'll tell you what, I am a minister because if I wasn't a minister, I think I would just lie on the couch and read spiritual books occasionally, but I wouldn't be motivated. But this is the perfect job for me because I'm always running up against myself and seeing the demons. I'm always casting out the demons, and they're all in here. So I had a week where I had an extra amount of people wanting things from me, and I knew this was coming, so I actually was taking, or so I thought, enough time to go aside and pray silently, to fill myself up, so that when I gave what I was giving, it was with the joy of a child feeding a hungry duck instead of the other way. None of us like it when people give us stuff the other way, do we? We don't like it. We think we do, and we think we need something, and we try to get what we want, but we really don't like it when people give not from the presence. It's painful. So, I don't even remember which of the many times I came up against a demon in me, but all I noticed is that at some point last night, I realized I had not gone aside. I had not taken the time to renew myself, so there was a little going on. And then I realized, wait a minute, is there a gun to my head? I can go be alone right now. So I did. I went and I was alone, and I dealt with what I needed to deal with in the moment, and I was grateful. It took a while. It was at least 10 minutes of painful gratitude. And then it came into beautiful gratitude. And I said, well, thanks. You gave me an example for Sunday. Oh, thanks, universe. And it was a good thing. And it really just sunk into me how important it is for all of us. How important it is for all of us. And this is our assignment, no matter who you have Thanksgiving with, to give yourself some time. For some of us, it's just walking into the bathroom. Got to go to the bathroom. Lock the door. Stay in there for a little bit. Whatever it is, get what you need so that when we come out and we give of ourselves, it is the Christ who's there instead of the demon. That's our assignment. Now, we are lucky enough to have